Hi, buddy. Oh.
Happy.
He's kind of cute.
Since ancient times, scientists have documented instances of hydrophobia in animals. This condition drives them into a frenzy at the simple sight of water. If left untreated within 48 hours, it becomes impossible to cure. In the present day, hydrophobia is understood to be a symptom of rabies. Late one night in Hawaii, veterinarian Doug examines a chimpanzee named Ben, who appears seriously ill. Doug gets an injection ready for Ben, but when he turns back around, the chimpanzee has vanished. He hears grunting coming from inside the kennel area, so he moves in for a better look. As Doug offers Ben a teddy bear, the chimpanzee suddenly seizes his wrist and pulls him inside to assault him, methodically tearing the skin off Doug's face. Newspaper clippings depict Ben as a baby and highlight his role in a study demonstrating the remarkable intelligence of chimpanzees. Ben amazed everyone by mastering signs for 300 different words. Sadly, the professor who initiated the research passed away from cancer. Everything began unfolding 36 hours earlier. College student Lucy is returning to her home in Hawaii. While boarding the plane, she accidentally collides with Drew and drops her teddy bear. He tries to apologize by using funny voices with the bear, but it comes across as awkward and cringeworthy. Lucy then phones her sister Erin, who seems reluctant to speak. After ending the call, Lucy confides in her best friend Kate that Erin remains upset because she has been away from home for years. Kate reassures her not to feel guilty, noting that her family has endured significant hardships. Lucy is caught off guard when Hannah joins them on the flight, and Kate confesses she invited her to spend the summer together. Drew's friend Brad assists Hannah with her luggage as a pretext to flirt and swap phone numbers. Upon arriving in Hawaii, Kate's brother Nick collects the group. They drive to Lucy's house and encounter her deaf father, Adam, who is engaged in a business call. He promptly ends the conversation upon seeing Lucy and hurries over to embrace her. He also greets the rest of the visitors warmly. Adam talks with Nick and inquires about his girlfriend, but Nick reveals they have split up. Aware that Lucy has feelings for Nick, Adam suggests this could be her opportunity, though she brushes it off. Adam then confesses he must depart for work but will return in a few days. He attempts to apologize, yet Lucy assures him they are accustomed to it. Next, Lucy visits Erin, who continues to harbor resentment over her sister's prolonged absence. Erin tries to avoid her by using a soundboard to indicate she is occupied. Lucy employs the same soundboard to express regret, and Erin admits she has felt lonely. When Lucy presents the teddy bear, a hand reaches out to take it. It turns out Ben is the family's pet chimpanzee. The professor was the girl's mother, so the family adopted Ben following her death. Lucy embraces him, and Ben uses the soundboard to convey that he missed her. Afterward, Lucy introduces Ben to her friends, and Hannah feels frightened at first. However, she chuckles when Ben shakes her hand. Later that night, Hannah struggles to sleep, so she wanders through the house. Nick discovers her examining family photos, and she asks about Lucy's mom. Nick explains that she died of cancer and had been a linguistics professor working to facilitate communication between humans and chimpanzees. Nick draws nearer to flirt with Hannah and offers her a cigarette to help with jet lag. Hannah continues exploring and discovers stairs leading outside to a stunning pool. At that instant, Ben materializes beside her and stares fixedly at the water, grunting and drooling as if in a trance. He glances up when Hannah calls his name and softly pats her hand. Abruptly, Ben violently seizes her wrist, and Hannah shrieks in agony as he becomes agitated. When an unusual dinging sound begins, Ben releases her and steps aside. Hannah turns to see that Adam has employed a whistle to soothe Ben. Adam types on his phone to communicate, clarifying that Ben acts strangely around unfamiliar people. Then escorts Ben to his enclosure and is startled to find a dead mongoose on the ground. He questions Ben about fighting with the neighbors again, but Ben denies it. Upon closer inspection, Adam realizes the mongoose had bitten Ben, so he decides to confine him in the enclosure for the time being. The following morning, Adam presents the mongoose's body to his daughters and informs them of the bite. He plans to send it for testing as a precaution and has contacted Doug for some shots for Ben. Instructs the girls to keep Ben in the enclosure meanwhile. Adam vows they will enjoy time together once he returns from his business trip. For the remainder of the day, the group relaxes by the pool. In the evening, they pause to unwind, and Lucy observes Hannah and Nick exchanging flirtatious looks. Feeling jealous, Lucy asks Hannah if she will call Brad, intending to expose her. Hannah considers it a fine idea but challenges Lucy to make the call instead. With Nick also daring her, Lucy dials the number and leaves a voicemail. Shortly afterward, the phone rings again, and Lucy answers without checking the screen, offering a flirtatious remark. Regrettably, the caller is Nick's mom, who has been attempting to reach him since his phone was uncharged. Suddenly, Kate begins vomiting, so Lucy escorts her to the bedroom and tucks her in. Kate expresses gratitude for the care and reaffirms their strong friendship by holding up the matching split-heart necklaces they share. Meanwhile, Hannah informs Nick that Lucy is attempting to impress him, but Nick views Lucy more like a sister. When Lucy returns, she catches them kissing. At the same time, Doug arrives to administer the shots Adam had requested, leading to the attack scene at the beginning. Some time later, Kate awakens and heads to the kitchen for water. Hearing a noise, she turns and spots the teddy bear on the table. She picks it up, assuming the others are playing a prank, only for Ben to emerge behind her. He glares at her and growls, which escalates into a piercing shriek. A terrified Kate flees the kitchen and shuts the door. Ben growls at her through the window, prompting Kate to shout for assistance. Lucy soon descends, and Kate warns her that something is wrong with Ben. They enter the kitchen, but Ben is missing. On the floor lies the teddy bear stained with blood. Abruptly, they hear screaming and rush to the pool area. Ben is in a frenzy, and Nick is struggling to hold him off. When Lucy calls Ben's name, he retreats but refuses to respond to her questions. Nick recalls rope in the pool box and cautiously circles around Ben to retrieve it, though Ben continues growling at him. Lucy distracts the chimpanzee so Nick can access the box, but while searching for the rope, he accidentally drops a toy. It begins playing an irritating song, causing Ben to lose control again. Nick hurls the toy over the cliff to settle him. Nick then fashions a lasso with the rope, secures one end to a column, and attempts to approach Ben, who becomes agitated once more. Lucy speaks calmly to Ben until she succeeds in hugging him and carefully slips the lasso around him. When Ben comprehends the rope's purpose, he panics anew and tries to attack Nick, but the rope restrains him, allowing only a knockdown. Aaron then arrives and suggests calling Adam or the vet, so Kate uses her phone to contact Doug. Hannah believes Ben should be euthanized, prompting Lucy to insult her and spark an argument. Everyone becomes distracted and fails to notice Ben gnawing on the rope. Group falls quiet upon hearing Doug's phone ringing inside the enclosure and deduces that his lack of response means he must be dead. At that moment, Ben snaps the rope and lunges at Aaron, biting her leg. Nick seizes Ben from behind and exerts all his strength to drag him away. When Hannah attempts to flee, Ben swiftly blocks the exit. Nick remembers that Ben cannot swim, so the entire group leaps into the pool. Ben removes the rope and growls at them, unable to pursue. Group collaborates to keep Aaron afloat and uses Nick's shirt as a tourniquet. They speculate that Ben may have rabies, meaning Aaron urgently needs hospital care. However, they remain trapped with Ben on one side of the pool and a cliff on the other. They begin shouting for help, but the house is situated in the woods and no one hears them. Suddenly, Ben leaps and lands on the opposite edge of the pool. Nick swims toward him and shoves him down the cliff. Yet Ben clings to the edge and climbs back up to grab Nick, yanking until he pulls him over. Nick's head smashes against the rocks below, killing him instantly. Ben then perches on the pool edge and laughs, enraging Kate. She wants to confront him, but Hannah restrains her. Afterward, Ben jumps again to block the exit once more and sits down to wait. Concerned for her sister, Lucy decides to exit the pool to retrieve a floaty. Ben watches her but does not react. Lucy moves cautiously and succeeds in getting the floaty onto the water. He then spots a phone on the ground and tries to grab it as well. But just then it rings, triggering Ben's frenzy. To shield her friend, Kate emerges from the pool and yells to draw Ben's attention. When he chases her, she dives back into the pool. The diversion enables Lucy to snatch the phone and jump into the water right before Ben can catch her. The girls attempt to dial 911, but the damaged screen prevents keypad use. They navigate to the recent calls menu and reach out to Brad and Drew for assistance. However, the boys assume it is a party invitation and dismiss it as a joke. Suddenly, Ben grabs Hannah by the hair, and the girls are horrified to see him suspended above the pool from the lights. Hannah struggles until her hair is torn away, causing her to fall back into the pool with a bleeding scalp wound. In the commotion, the phone drops into the water and malfunctions. Ben fetches the soundboard and presses buttons to declare Nick dead, repeating dead several times. Meanwhile, Adam is signing copies of his book at an author event. He receives a text stating the dead mongoose tested positive for rabies. Adam finds this odd since rabies is absent in Hawaii. The scientist reassures him that they are rerunning the tests to rule out contamination. He tries calling Lucy, but she does not answer. In the pool, the girls dozed off on the floaty. Ringing phone rouses them, and they notice Ben has disappeared. Lucy and Kate cautiously exit the pool and enter the house. Nick's phone is charging, and Lucy reaches for it only to step on a remote control by mistake. The TV turns on, and the girls hear Ben raging upstairs. Realizing he is descending, they hide in the closet. Ben enters the living room, sees no one, and begins punching and smashing objects. As he nears the closet, Lucy ensures the door is locked and sniffs briefly before heading to the TV and destroying it. Startled, the girls accidentally knocked over some items. They conceal themselves behind the clothes as Ben hears the sound and charges back to the closet, smashing the wood. He breaks through but scans the interior without spotting them and departs. After waiting briefly, Lucy emerges to retrieve Nick's phone. Suddenly, she hears the soundboard say, "Lucy bad," and sees Ben on the ceiling. He leaps onto her, causing her to drop the phone, and begins assaulting her. Kate grabs an object and strikes Ben to free Lucy. The girls then flee outside and lock the door. Ben pounds on it before reaching for the handle. Kate holds it from the inside to keep it shut. After more pounding, Ben walks away and Kate releases the handle. However, Ben charges and crashes through the glass to emerge. Lucy runs downstairs toward the pool while Kate tries to follow, but Ben grabs her ankle and trips her. Hearing the screams, Lucy returns for Kate, but it is too late. Ben is killing her by smashing her head with a rock. When Lucy tries to escape, Ben jumps on her and brings her down. Hannah rushes for the lasso, loops it around Ben's neck and pulls. Ben grips the rope to prevent choking and turns to roar at Hannah, creating an opening for both girls to leap back into the pool. The girls then tug the rope together in an effort to drag Ben into the water, but he seizes it and yanks it from their grasp. Meanwhile, Adam continues texting Lucy during a meeting. Since she does not reply, he decides to head home, sacrificing his chances at a movie deal. Shortly afterward, Brad and Drew barge into the house, disappointed to find no party underway. They begin searching, unaware that Ben is observing them from outside. They choose to separate for better coverage, and Drew reaches Lucy's room where he finds her phone filled with missed calls. Ben lurks behind him, but when Drew turns, the chimpanzee has vanished. Drew climbs onto the bed and examines a picture of Lucy's mother with Ben, only for Ben to suddenly appear beside him, growling. Terrified, Drew looks away, but Ben swiftly shifts to the other side and advances. When Ben claps, Drew claps in return and promises not to harm him. A desperate Drew pulls out his keys and shakes them to distract Ben. Yet when he throws them and tells Ben to fetch, Ben knocks him down and sits on him. Drew tries to remain friendly, but Ben pins his arms. Drew grows furious and begins insulting and threatening him. Ben inserts his fingers into Drew's mouth and pulls, ripping off his jaw. He then places it on his own face and mimics Drew's sounds as Drew bleeds out slowly. On the balcony, Brad spots the girls in the pool and calls for Drew. The girls urge him to be quiet and call 911, but Brad is distracted when Drew's jawbone lands nearby. He picks it up thinking it is a joke, then drops it upon realizing it is genuine. Suddenly, Ben appears near him, so Brad hides behind furniture. He grabs a shovel and attempts to fight Ben. The girls hear the commotion and see a box tumble from the balcony. With Ben distracted, Hannah leaves the pool and heads upstairs, witnessing Ben killing Brad with the shovel. Broken glass covers the floor, so she painfully crosses it to re-enter the house. After grabbing Nick's phone and keys, she dashes outside and jumps into a car. However, the keys do not fit because she entered Drew's car by mistake. When Hannah tries to exit, she sees Ben waiting, covered in blood. She quickly locks herself back inside. She finally dials 911 and requests help, only to realize she does not know the address. Ben reveals he has Drew's keys and begins pressing buttons to unlock the door, forcing Hannah to relock it repeatedly. She weeps while pleading with the operator to trace the call. Ben peers through the window menacingly before moving to the rear, opening the trunk and climbing in. Hannah attempts to flee the car, but Ben drags her back and beats her to death. Several minutes later, Lucy realizes Hannah is not returning, so she leaves the pool. After pausing to bid farewell to Kate, she goes to the balcony and steps on the glass. She covers her mouth in time to stifle a cry of pain. Unfortunately, Ben locates her anyway and prepares to attack, but he is distracted by the sound of Adam's car arriving. Adam enters the house and taps the wall to signal his presence. Ben begins trailing him since Adam cannot hear the screeching, but Lucy can, when she enters the room. Ben immediately pursues her and knocks her down. Lucy tries crawling under the couch, but Ben drags her back and starts striking her. As a terrified Lucy screams in pain, Adam snacks and heads upstairs, oblivious to the sounds. Surprisingly, Ben calms and steps away. He gently holds Lucy's hand for a moment before abruptly breaking it. In response, Lucy jams her thumb into Ben's bite wound, causing intense pain that lets her shove him off. He then crawls under the couch and Ben follows to scratch at her. At that moment, Erin enters and commands Ben to stop. Ben leaps on her and begins beating her, leaving deep scratches on her back. While Lucy rushes to pull Ben off her sister, Adam enters the daughter's room and discovers Drew's body. After knocking Lucy down, Ben tries pursuing Erin. Lucy throws a bottle at his head. Ben then tackles her and inserts his fingers into her mouth to pull, but Adam blows the whistle at that instant. Ben stares at him briefly before rushing to bite his leg. Adam punches and kicks him. A furious Ben brings him down and assaults him. Lucy grabs a shovel and strikes Ben repeatedly until the shovel breaks. Ben seizes the moment to smack her face, knocking her down. Adam then pins Ben and punches him several times. Sadly, Ben overpowers him and smashes his head against the floor. When Ben pauses to growl at the girls, Adam smashes a bottle over his head and stabs him in the chest. Ben collapses, and Adam pushes him aside to embrace his daughters. Suddenly, Ben revives and comes after them. Lucy sees him and shoves her family clear, so only she is tackled. As they tumble from the balcony, Adam catches Lucy's hand and saves her just in time. Ben continues falling and lands on the broken box, which impales and kills him for good. Adam and Erin cooperate to pull Lucy up while the police finally arrive. Erin is transported to the hospital by ambulance. Adam acknowledges he should never have left his daughters. Suddenly, Lucy is startled by Bad Lucy, but it is only a cop testing the soundboard. And with this, our movie comes to an end. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, leave a comment, share it, and subscribe to Anik Alvin Recaps. Stay with us. I invite you to watch the next video. I'm signing off now.